Welcome to the first episode of the A-List Music Club. That's right, you've seen our A-List Movie Club, and now we're going to do the same thing for music. So, I, of course, am your host, Wes Truth. Oh, wait. The game changer, Wes Truth. And I'm being joined once again by Dominic and John.
We're off to a good start.
And John, this was your idea, the A-List Music Club. You want to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, I just thought it'd be because we're all music lovers as well as movie lovers, so we could pick different bands or albums to listen to and review, and just like movies, get different opinions and like different things. Maybe a chance for the three of us to be introduced to new bands.
Yes, exactly. So, John, you picked the first album for us to review.
Yes, I picked a band called I Prevail. They're a fairly new band, started in 2013. And I picked their first full-length album called Lifelines. I think it's very good. But
yeah, I listened to it. I enjoyed it. It's not really my type. It's a little after my time. You know what? It reminded me somewhat of Linkin Park and some of the newer bands that I just don't know any of their names or anything like that. I thought the drummer was a monster. The drummer's great. And he was doing a lot of really interesting time signatures and stuff like that. Like I said, you know, it's not something. If you guys were to say, "Hey, they're playing in concert, let's go," I'd probably say, "Oh, you guys have fun." But they weren't terrible. I mean, not my cup of tea, but I think for their genre, they're pretty good.
Speaking of concerts, you've seen them in concert, haven't you, John?
Yes, I've seen them twice, actually, yes. I was supposed to see them a third time, but, you know, COVID canceled that, so.
Of course.
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
And they're good in concert?
Oh, yeah. Very good. Much louder and heavier in concert than they are on the CD.
I'm sure.
My son had to wear earplugs. So.
For good reasons, not for bad reasons.
No, just because it's so loud. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had never heard of I Prevail until you suggested this one for our show. I thought it was some pretty heavy stuff on there, metalcore as it's called, which is interesting. Where one singer has a more common voice, and then there's one who screams throughout the song. So a lot like
kind of
Linkin.
like you. Kind of like you throughout every friggin' video we do.
What was it? Clean vocals and what? Unclean? Yeah.
Unclean, they call it, yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. And that's another thing that reminded me about Linkin Park a little with that. And I like that the songs don't overstay their welcome. They're all pretty timed well. They're all about around 3 minutes and some change. So it's like, okay, that was cool. I like the first 4 songs on the album best. My favorite was You're Stuck in Your Head. I really thought that was a cool music video with the band, like they were playing inside the brain. I liked Scars. I liked Lifelines. Lifelines actually gave me a jump scare when I was listening to it, as when the screamer comes in. I kind of jumped out of my seat, but whatever. You think the movie show would give us the first jump scare of the show, not the music show, but it is what it is. And I liked Come and Get It as well. They have some good slower songs. I lost my page here. Alone, I thought, was a pretty good one.
Yeah, I like Alone.
Yeah. Outcast gave me some Crawling vibes from Linkin Park. My Heart I Surrender, I think that was their single. You said that was the slower one.
Yeah, not at all what they sound like.
Yeah. And Already Dead, I thought was an interesting music video. It has Kyle Gass from Tenacious D with voodoo dolls on the computer. That was an odd video, but cool.
Yeah.
I thought there was nothing bad on the CD or nothing like, oh, skip that one. I listened through all of it and liked it. I definitely was interested in the band and would recommend them. And I would definitely add some of their songs onto the West Side of Mix. So that's cool. John, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you pretty much. I think it starts out strong. Those first four are like almost unbeatable. Like they're so good that the rest of the album sort of doesn't match up. They should have probably spaced those four out a little bit.
Yeah.
But I like Alone. I like the last song, Worse Than Me, I think it's called.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Yeah, they're pretty good. My nephew got me into them, and Stuck in My Head is my favorite. That's my son's favorite. That's sort of the poppier of it. Still kind of heavy, but sort of the one I'd hear on the radio, I think, if I had to pick.
Right, and I'll tell you something, an opinion. If I was probably like 20 years younger, I'd probably really like this band. It's just the music is just it's just I'm not as familiar with the metalcore and stuff like that. And it's just, as older I'm getting, it's like the more I'm mellowing out. Because I used to love like back when we thought all this stuff was hard was like, Deep Purple and Black Sabbath and stuff like that, and AC/DC. And now I find myself I'm listening more to like Steely Dan and Chicago and stuff like that. But like I said, if I was like 20 years younger, I'd probably really, really like this band.
Yeah, I'm probably too old for this band as well. I mean, they're probably more my nephew who's in his 20s. It's probably meant for him more than me, but
right.
I like it. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not bad.
No.
So are we going to do our ratings?
Yeah.
All right, I give it a firm 6.
All right. I will go with a 7.
Okay, I think it's like an 8. That's almost a perfect album. There's just some, like right after the first 4, those next 2 sort of I can't remember how they go.
Right.
And I probably listened to that CD 100 times. There's only like 6 or 7 songs that stand out. The rest sort of blur into each other.
Right.
But it's good. Their second album is much better.
Really?
More mature. Yes. They've had touring under their belts, and they went from nobody to this album sold and became sort of famous. Hit it big. So their second album is a little more mature, lots of experience under their belts. Yeah, it's really good. I recommend it. It's called Trauma.
Maybe I'll have to listen to it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Maybe we'll do it on another show. Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe that'll be my next pick.
You never know.
So now it was going to be my turn to pick the music.
Yes.
I am going to pick a classic album. What I think is one of the greatest albums, front to back, ever made. We're going to do Led Zeppelin's Physical Graffiti.
Wow. Okay, I have that one as well. So.
Okay,
that on CD.
I think this is just a classic album.
Oh yeah, that's Kashmir's on that one, right?
Kashmir. My absolute favorite Led Zeppelin song is on this album. It's called 10 Years Gone. It's just an incredible song.
All right.
All righty.
I remember my dad has that on record. I remember when I was a kid, he would pull the thing and you could see the windows change.
Yep.
They used to, it's about how Physical Graffiti then became pictures.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that.
All right, so John, you want to plug your podcast?
Sure. I do a podcast called We Like Wrestling Podcast. It's just four guys sitting around talking about wrestling, current events, classic pay-per-views. We do a mock tournament every month. It's just it's fun. Wes, you were just a guest on our last episode.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we just sit around shooting shit. We're just sort of winging off the top of our heads. But we have a lot of fun. So it's available on Apple Music and Spotify, wherever you find podcasts.
All right. And of course, for me, you know the links, youtube.com/westside515. Like the show on Facebook, facebook.com/WesTrueBayless. And of course, you can follow me on the Twitter and the Instagram @WesAlist. Until
the
next
hell
time. Out.